Yes, started recording. So it's great to have each one of you. And in today's Monday meetup, I'm going to talk about the title of today's Monday meetup. It's called What Are You Zipped To? Or Who Are You Zipped To? Zipped is Zipped. And in this Monday meetup, to continue the theme that we have been having for the past few weeks, the theme of you were searching some other app to connect. No, no. So the theme was power struggle stage and what happens in power struggle stage. And the most important part is what is keeping me in power struggle stage. And those of you who are together, you would understand this. And those of you who are separated, you would understand even better because you will understand what made your spouse to leave the house and move on. Or if you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, then what made her to break up with you? So what happens in a relationship is this. When we come together, we are two independent people. We fall in love and it becomes like this. We are dependent on each other. So when we become dependent on each other, what happens is like, I cannot live without you. I'll always miss you. You would have, even if it is an arranged marriage, you would have said to your partner these words. I cannot live without you. I'll always miss you. I can't think of a world without you. Have you said that? Just write in the comments, I have. Just write in the comments, I have. And probably your partner also said it. And that phase was this. Then at some juncture, this came back to this way. That means again you started having fights, again you started having arguments, and slowly you moved away from each other. Now this is power struggle stage, by the way, a stage where we have fights, arguments, all these things. And now what can happen is we might get stuck out here, and 7 out of 10 marriages get stuck out here. But the idea is to move from, this is called independence, this is called dependence, and the idea is to move from independence to interdependence. That is, I need you, but at the same time, I'm not stopping you from being your best version if you have to do something else. In this, I'm really possessive. In this, I'm detached. In this is a mature stage. We drink from the same cup, but at the same time, we have our own lives to live. And what we do is we support each other. So in today's session, I'm going to talk about what are you zipped to? In other words, what came between you and your spouse? Or what took precedence over your spouse? It's going to be a very interesting session and it's going to be a reflective one. But before we do that, before we get into the session, can we take a couple of moments just to relax ourselves? And probably this could be the only time during the week you are relaxing yourself. So I invite you to sit comfortably. I invite you to sit back wherever you're sitting. And I invite you to gently close your eyes. If you're watching this recording and if you're not doing any heavy machinery or driving, I invite you to do the same. And as you close your eyes, become aware of your breathing. Because our breathing brings us to the present. And then become aware of all the sounds around. And as a reflective question, this is what I want you to think about. I want you to invite you to think about a beautiful phase in your relationship in the past. And I also want you to think about about a beautiful incident. It could be just that you went for a movie together sometime in the past, or it could be the time you went for your honeymoon. It could be a time We just sat with each other and you spoke for hours. And once you thought of that particular incident, event, I invite you to become aware of what was about you that created that event, that love between both of you. There was something that you did. There was something that you said. There's something that the way you spoke made your partner feel good about herself, feel loved for who she is. And what was that? Just think about it. And then when you feel ready, gently open your eyes and write in the comments, ready. So when you're ready, gently open your eyes and write in the comments, ready. Because I'm going to ask you a question that would be a great insight into no matter where you are. Just because you are separated, don't think this is the end. It is not, provided that you do the right things. Thank you. Thank you, each one of you. Others, are you still with your eyes closed? Just write in the comments, ready or are. Welcome, Shahrukh. Okay. So, if I may ask you, what was that one thing that you did that made your partner feel loved? Just write in the comments. In that particular incident, what was that one thing that you did that made your partner feel loved? Thank you. You are caring. Others? All right, nice. The focus was on her. All right, thank you. You were loving. Thank you very much. Others, please go ahead. What else? Because the whole idea is if I want love in my relationship, it has to start with love. It cannot start with anything else. And if there is aggression, anger, she's wrong, she's the one, she needs to change, any of these thoughts is like sowing a seed of poison and hoping that rice grow up. Rice will not grow up from sowing the seeds of poison. What you have to sow is rice. So if you're negative towards your wife, you will have more negativity in your relationship. As simple as that. Thank you. I can see more answers. During a pregnancy time, I cared her and made her feel loved. Thank you very much for sharing that. Surprised her by arranging a birthday along with children of an orphanage. Beautiful, beautiful. And if you notice in all these, that event was beautiful because you made her feel loved. And that is the thing. And all of us, it's like love is like oxygen for us. And when we don't get love, one of the two things we do, either we run away from the relationship or we become more clingy. Either we run away or become more clingy. Thank you for sharing all this. Great. Good to have each one of you. Let's very quickly go through the creed. This is the foundation of all that we do. What's the whole idea of this? Is me and my spouse are connected. If she's moving in no love direction, in other words, she's not caring, she's not understanding, she's not loving, she's not thinking about me, she is not bothered about me, it means that even I am moving in no love direction and I am not able to say it. You know what is the most difficult part? Just ask me in the comments. What? Just write what? what in the comments, and I'll tell you what's the most difficult part. And once you cross that, then things become very easy. The most difficult part is stopping. The most difficult part is to stop yourself moving in the no love direction, because for years you have been doing this. For years you have been probably criticizing her, and for years she had been criticizing you. The most difficult part is to stop yourself. And the second most difficult part is to turn in the mature love direction. It's like the train, with so many wheels, it's moving in one particular direction. Now you're stopping it and turning in the opposite direction. That's the most difficult part. But once you start moving in that direction, then everything, falls in place. I have one person in the Loveathon, wonderful gentleman, married for 22 years. And he's like 22 years. Imagine that. He has stopped himself moving in the no love direction, and he has started moving in the mature love direction, and total shift in his marriage. As soon as he started moving in the mature love direction, she started moving in the mature love direction. Now that's the power we have. The next thing I invite you to look at every day is, if you have joined, then these are the ones. The first thing is the guiding principles. You want love, only love can bring love into the relationship. That means I got to love my partner the way she wants to be loved. The biggest mistake we make is we love our partner the way we want to be loved. I like the house clean, so I keep the house clean, thinking that she'll like it. I like movies, so I think that she also likes movies. I buy tickets for her. But that's not what she likes. I need to find out. So to love her the way she wants to be loved. And if you are separated right now, you learn these things right now. And once you learn it, you start implementing it. The second thing is learning. If I cannot become a doctor without learning, I cannot become an awesome husband without learning. And there's a lot of proof. Just look around marriages. Look at people, they have everything except awesome relationship. You go, look deep inside their relationship and you'll know they have everything, just name it, they have it. But when you look into the relationship, you realize that they're just married for namesake. They're role mates rather than soulmates. The third thing is, the most important thing is awareness. It means my ability to look at myself and say, where am I going wrong? What is it that I'm doing that's affecting my relationship? And you're going to learn quite a lot of it today. The fourth thing is consistency. Things will not change overnight. That's the reason counseling many times doesn't work. Because what's happening at counseling, you're going there one session, and after that, you're back to square one. It has to be a process. And that's why we are doing this weekly Monday meetup. The people who are in the third level, they are into Loveathon. Every week we sit and talk. That's the only way to move towards love. And the last one is passion. To live a life filled with meaning and purpose. To do everything with full josh. There is, how many of you have watched the movie called, what's that? Na Dubara. Zindagi. What's the movie? Just write in the comments. There is that Diol guy who acts in it. There is Hrithik Roshan. Yes, thank you, Vishal. Zindagi na milegi dubara. Yeah. And this guy, Hrithik Roshan, says this. Yeah, thank you, Sudeep. Hrithik Roshan says, everything is set, he says. After 40, at 40, I'm going to retire. And after that, I'm going to live my life. And what does Katrina Kaif says? Anybody remember that? Just write in the comments. Let's see if you remember. What does she say when he says that? After 40, I'm going to live my life. Anybody remembers that? She says, what if you don't live up to 40? What if you don't live up to 40? Now that's the same thing each one of us. What if I don't live up tomorrow? What's going to happen to all that I have? It's not that I don't want to have, we should have. But there are certain things, research says, that when we look back, we don't remember. There was a research done on the old people, and they were asked, and the video is available. They were asked, what do you remember from your younger days? And the interesting part is nobody remembered the type of car they had, the type of house they had, the type of food they ate, nothing. What they remembered was memories. They remembered the memories. So guiding principles are these affirmations. Please go through them every day. This is really important. And the journey, we'll talk about it later. Those of you who have joined this week and you don't know where to find the creed from, go to coachval.co/creed. I've given you the link. Please go to that. So what am I going to teach today? Today's session is really important. I'll just give you a glance of last week's session for those of you who have not attended it. Very quick glance. The last week we spoke about you're married, but do you really love your wife? All of us, we say we love our wife, but do we really love her? And then we spoke about the two types of love and the understanding that I love her so much because I can't live without her. I have to get her back. I don't want her to talk to men because I love her. But then we spoke about, is it love or fear? Is it love or fear? If you're separated, gentlemen, and you're desperate to get your wife back, is it out of love or is it out of fear? If it is out of fear, she's going to pick it up. Is it out of insecurity? Is it out of neediness? She's going to pick it up. And she's going to say to herself, this is not love, yeah. This is not love. This is not love. Forcing people to do what they don't want to do is not love. It might be with children, you can do that because you are better off and that child doesn't know and he doesn't want to brush his teeth and you're forcing him. That's fine. But with adults, it's not love, especially in an intimate relationship. You know what love is? This. I just want to play this video. This is love. This is love, where you're not forcing the person to come back. You're not forcing the person to be with you. You're not forcing the person. You're not telling the person, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't talk to men, you don't go out, you don't meet people, do what I tell you. I want to have sex, then let's have sex. You're not telling any of these things. But just like this bird who is so much attached to that person, a wife is, because a wife finds us a wonderful human being. And if she loses me, she thinks that that is the greatest loss in her life. If she thinks that way, and if she thinks that if she leaves me, she will never be able to find a guy like me, do you think she will ever leave? Yes or no? What do you think? If she thinks that she will never ever find a guy like me, such a loving, caring, understanding, she will never leave me. She'll never leave me. And that's what I need to become. Let's not, if you're separated, don't focus on getting her back. Focus on putting her first. If she says, I don't want to talk to you, let's not talk to her. That's what she wants. Let's put her first, what she wants or doesn't want, not out of anger, but out of love. I spoke about that. And this is a quote, I loved it. It says, do I love you because you're beautiful, or are you beautiful because I love you? And it applies to everything. Do I love you because you take such good care of me, or you take such good care of me because I love you? Do I love you because you give into sex even though you don't feel like? Or you give into sex because I love you? Look at that. Do I love you because you take such good care of my parents, or you take such good care of my parents because I love you? Are you getting this? Just write in the comments, getting it or got it. This is what mature love is. And today, I'm going to talk about a concept called who or what are you zipped to? Who or what are you zipped to? So let's look at this. In romance stage, no matter whoever we are zipped to, we get zipped with our spouse. We get connected. And with a zipper, just like the zipper, a soul cannot connect with 100 of people. Physically, we can connect, okay? Not emotionally. There has to be, generally, it is one person. It's like the way we say that you cannot have 100 best friends. Same way, you can't have 100 soulmates. You're connected with one person at a time. So this is the way we begin. But what happens is when we reach power struggle stage, then something strange happens. Both of us start connecting with not with each other, with other people. So I want you to have a book and a pen and tell me when you are ready. Even if it is your pad on your phone or WhatsApp message, something where you can write. So when you're ready, just write in the comments R, because I'm going to give you a long list of things you might be zipped to right now. And that could be stopping you from having an awesome marriage. Ready? I can see a lot of R's coming in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Others, write in the comments. Great. Let's begin. So what are you zipped to? And when we're talking about zipping, just one second, just put this down. Okay. When we're talking about being zipped, when we're talking about zipped, it basically means me on one side and the other things on the other. So when we get into power struggle stage, we stopped being intimate with our partner and we start being intimate with something else. Maybe we were intimate with these things or these people before our marriage, and probably we go back to it. The best way to ask yourself is, who is giving you energy? By talking to whom you're getting energy. Don't answer it now here, but answer it in your mind. Who are you having fun with? Because generally when we start having power struggle stage and the relationship becomes difficult, a woman, not always, okay, there are exceptions, a woman starts coming closer. And the only way she knows how to come closer is through criticism. You're never there at home. You don't help me out. You don't understand me. You don't think about me. I have done so much. You don't think about my parents. That's her way of coming closer. And when that happens, as a man, what I do is I start pulling away from her. And when I start pulling away from her, we always need somebody to connect with. I connect with somebody outside instead of finding a way to go closer to her. She starts appearing scary to me. Because she's appearing scary to me, I look for somebody else instead of finding a way to make this relationship better, to move it to mature love stage. So who is giving you energy, having fun with? Who are you meeting for lunch? Who are you sharing those jokes with? Because that very thing could be the one which is stopping you from having an awesome marriage. And if you're separated, probably this is the very thing that led you to separation. And why do you need to learn this if you're separated? Because your wife is not with you. The reason is, once you learn it, and after a certain period of time, when she comes back to your house, you know exactly what not to do. So let's start with what are those things. The first thing is somebody you're so close to somebody from the opposite sex. So you have a friend and you're more connected with that person than your wife. Years ago, Pallavi and I were not married at that time. I was doing my studies and we were in relationship. And there was somebody in my class who I got friendly with. And it was an open relationship. That means Pallavi knew about her. She had a boyfriend somewhere else. And it was a long distance relationship. Pallavi was in one place. I was in one place. She was studying in my class. Her boyfriend was some other place. And everybody knew about everybody. That means Pallavi knew about the person, my friend, and her boyfriend knew about me. So everything was open. But when I look back today, and there was no harmful, there was no physical relationship or anything. It was just being good friends. But when I look back, I realized that that was a period of time I was more connected with this person than with Pallavi. And if that continued, then what would have happened was our relationship would have severed. Because why? Because there is a limited amount of emotional energy that I have. Everybody has. And if I spend that emotional energy with somebody outside, not with my wife, I spend that emotional energy with somebody outside, then I'm not left with any energy to spend on this relationship. And what is worse is if both of us are on a similar track. And when I'm saying both of us, is me and my friend are on a similar track, then it's already almost it's even worse, because then we are forget about sharing, spending our emotional energy on each other. We are bitching about our partners, and that sort of distances me from my partner and that person from her partner. Am I making sense to you? Just write in the comments making sense. If that was insightful, just write insightful. And I'm talking from my experience. I'm not hiding anything from you guys because I want us to learn. It's not that none of us are perfect, but it's just that when somebody holds a mirror and says, see, look at yourself, and then we take a step back. So, a person from opposite sex. The second one is much more subtle with a same-sex friend or same-sex friends. Now, this is more subtle. With the opposite sex, my wife can say, oh, are you having an affair with that lady? But with the same sex, she cannot say anything. Because if she says anything, like you can say that I'm not gay, I'm straight. So I'm not having an affair with them. I'm having a great time with them. But the point is, that friend, I'm sharing more with that friend than with my wife. And if I'm not sharing, what is the meaning of the word intimacy? The meaning of the word intimacy is getting naked. And with my wife, I get naked, correct? And there are different levels of getting naked. There are different levels. One level of getting naked, the obvious level is physically, like I take off my clothes and I'm naked. But there is one more level of getting naked, that is emotionally. So the word intimacy, if it is broken down, it also means into me you see, inside me you see. So many a times, my best friend, maybe same-sex friend, is able to see more inside me, or I'm showing that person more what's happening inside me than I show it to my wife. And for a simple reason that she criticizes. And instead of working on that kind of what is it called? That four horses of apocalypse. You would have learned it: criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and what's the fourth one? criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and what's the fourth one? Come on, somebody give it to me, please. What's the fourth one? Criticism, defensiveness, contempt. Contempt and stonewalling. So instead of dealing with that and creating an awesome relationship, I mean, spending energy out here. So same-sex friend. That's the second one. The third one is parents. I'm more close to my parents than to my wife. Does this happen? Does this happen? Just write in the comments, happens. In other words, my mom knows more about what's happening in my life than my wife. When I have to make a decision about buying things, I ask my mom or my dad than my wife. I grappled with, like, I'm a Christian, so I used to go to church, used to go to church. So what was I going to say? I grappled with this verse from the Bible. It said that a man leaves his parents and joins with his wife. And that line was read during every wedding mass. The man will leave his wife, parents and join with his wife. And I said to myself, what a stupid verse. Because it meant that the husband should leave his parents, stop taking care of them, and start taking care of his wife. Don't you think so? Just right. Yes. If it make, if you think that way, even I thought that way. Leave your parents and join with your wife. That's horrible. But then I realized the meaning of it. If you really love your parents, if you really care about them, do what exactly it says. Leave your parents and join with your wife. You know why? Because if you join with your wife and take care of her, now you have two people thinking about your parents. In most marriages, the guys don't take care of their parents because they try to take care of their parents. They try to argue with their wife why his parents are more important than her or her parents. Instead of making her feel so special, instead of making her parents feel so special. Imagine your wife feels that you really think about her and her parents. What do you think she will do? She will take care of your parents. As simple as that. My sister-in-law told me this, who used to take care of my mom for years, for years. And she said that if my husband is on my side, you know what I'll say when his mother starts cribbing about things, just generally like elderly people do crib about things. This is not right, rice is not cooked, the fish is not proper. You know what she'll say? She'll say that, okay, these are old people, these are elderlies, that's their habit of cribbing. But my husband is with me, and she will put up with all that cribbing. The problem comes when the husband is not on her side. The problem comes when he defends his parents in an argument rather than understanding her pain. Am I making sense to you guys? Just write in the comments making sense. So the third group you can get hooked on to or give priority to or zip to is your parents. It doesn't mean don't take care of them, but take care of your wife more than your parents so that your wife also takes care of your parents. See that? She will say, let's do this for them instead of you saying, because she feels so loved by you. When my mom was sick, I think I've shared this so many times earlier. When my mom was sick, Pallavi came all the way from Dehradun. I was in Bangalore, but she came from Dehradun just for 2 days. She didn't have any leave. And there was no meaning in she coming, technically speaking, because my mom could not recognize her. She was at that state, but she came, spending whatever, 30,000-40,000, booking a ticket at the last moment. She came. So that's the whole idea. The fourth thing is your zip to your children. Now, this is a trick. This is a trick. Trick as in, it's a tricky question. Like, I need to love my children. I need to love my children. They're really important for me. I need to take care of them. So I'm more zipped to my children than my wife. In other words, my children know more about me than my wife. And it has become a habit. That's the thing. It's not that it didn't start like that. It just started that when we started having fights, I had less and less interaction with my wife, and I had more and more interaction with my children. But there is a blog that I've written. You'll find it if you go to twodropsocean.com. Is why should you love your why should you love your spouse more than your children? Because your children need both mom and dad, and they need a loving mom and dad. So when you love each other, they are going to get a better family. So children. The fifth one is siblings. I have a sister who is very close to me, but she doesn't know as much as what Pallavi knows about my life. She's very close to me. We talk to each other sometimes for 1 hour, but she doesn't know as much as Pallavi knows about my life, about what I'm doing. Because in my priority list, Pallavi comes first. Because if Pallavi comes first in this priority list, then everybody else can also be, then two of us loving that person. So the siblings, many a times it can happen where I'm more connected with my brother knows more about me, my job, my work than my wife. Now I have a question. Suppose my wife is not familiar with the things I'm doing. So what's the point in sharing with my wife? Like, probably I'm into finances, and it's all about stocks and trades and interest, and my wife is not at all interested in it. What do you think? Is it okay if I don't share about things with her? Yes, no, just write in the comments. Write in the comments. Thank you for saying no. Okay, yes, no. I would say, Sagar is saying you can try once or twice. I would say you don't have to share everything, just one or two things. See, one of the things that does happen in a relationship is it becomes very logistical, and that's dangerous. Logistical is we only talk about what needs to be spoken about. That means what shall we cook for tomorrow? Children's fees have to be paid. The bills are not paid yet. You got to pay it, and that's where we get disconnected. So when we talk about our work without an agenda, and I'm just letting my partner know, you know what, this week I put up a Facebook ad, and this is what happened. And for her, it doesn't make any sense. But we are creating that connection. And then I ask her, what's happening at your workplace? And she says this, and we're creating connection. Now, depending on where your relationship is at this moment, you can start this. Depending on, because if you're not relationship is not great at this moment, then you cannot, suddenly start with this. You have to start with small things. What I last week I was sharing in the Lovathon is 60 seconds talk charge. That means I just talk about something happened last week, or the dream I had, or the joke I've heard, and that's it, without any expectations. If you're separated, this is not the time to do it. You have to go through a period of no contact. I'll talk about it little later about it. Let's go on. The next one is I might be zipped to my principles. My principle is cleanliness is really important. So for me, cleanliness is more important than my wife. So principles. For me, punctuality is more important. So punctuality is more important to me than my wife. And at those moments, she feels that I'm not important. My beliefs. My beliefs. drinking water after getting up from bed is really a must. So that is more important. It's not that drinking water is bad, but it is more important than my wife. So when there's a conflict between these two things, I give more importance to that than my wife. Or eating at a certain time, or doing things in a certain way, that is more important than my wife. And she feels it. She feels it. And then what happens is when I'm not important to him, then he also finds somebody or something to zip with or zip to. The next one is work. This is a big one. This is a big one. Work. And if you notice, if your wife has left you, just ask yourself, was it because you got zipped to your work rather than zipped to your wife? And you said to yourself that after 40, I'll have great time with my wife. Or after 5 years, I'll have a great, I'll set it all right. One of the things I've often heard from men is, my business was not going great, my work was not going great, and I focused on my work. And today, my work is going great, but my wife is not around. Do you have this experience? Just write in the comments, I do. I do. It has happened with you. That's one of the biggest challenges, guys, that we say to ourselves that work is more important to me than my wife. Work is more important to me than my wife. And then we justify it because the whole world tells us that if you have money, you will be happy. If you have money, you will be happy. But then if I don't have anybody to enjoy that money with, will I be happy? No. So work can be a killer. Do I put work first or my wife first? Ninth one is car. I'm more, I'm having an affair with my car than, uh, with my, having a relationship with my wife. That's more important. Like sports car or bikes. Like I'm crazy about bikes, not about my wife. If I'm crazy about my wife, then probably she'll also start taking interest in my bikes or in my cars because she feels special. So I need to make her feel so special that she also gets interested in what I'm doing, not the other way around. The 10th one is money. I'm zipped to my money, then to my spouse. So all the time I'm thinking about money, 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 and my wife is not around. There was somebody who told me this. I won't give you the names, not important. But this gentleman was married for 30 plus years and started at a very low level in his life, in the sense of he was just an executive, sales executive, when he got married. And it was a love marriage. The parents did not allow, and he got married. Nevertheless, they got married. And after that, he made making money as the mission of his life because he felt that if I love my wife, I need to give her the best. That was his belief. And he worked hard, worked hard, worked hard, sent his children for doing MBBS, spent crores of rupees on their studies. He has 4 or 5 houses now. He got estates, everything except his wife. And one of his biggest pain was this. When I come home in the evening, I walk into an empty home. And in that empty home, I have everything, which I didn't have it 30 years ago when I got married to my wife, except my wife. And 30 years ago, I had nothing, but I had my wife. And all that she asked me was for my time. And I didn't give it. The next thing is gadgets. Habits. I can be more zipped to my habits than to my wife. Computer games. One more. I'm spending more time with computer games than with my wife. There's nothing wrong in playing, but that takes priority over my wife. That's where the things go wrong. Weekly rituals. What are weekly rituals? Weekly rituals are once a week I go out with my friends. Once a week we play this particular thing. Once a week we meet at this particular place. Now there is nothing wrong in doing that. But what happens is when my wife feels that that is more important to my husband than me. That's where the problem is. Are you getting it? Just write got it in the comments if you're getting what I'm saying. The problem is not that. It is okay to go out. And if she feels that, good question. That's what I'm talking about. The question is, should we lose our lives to the spouse? Not at all. Your life becomes more beautiful because you have put your wife as a priority. Because now what's happening is probably you are breaking our heart to spend time with your friends. But imagine when she feels that she's really important. Now, when you go to your friends, you break your heart. Let's say on Saturdays, I go out with my friends. That's a ritual. Now, I've started that probably 5 years before I got married. I got married and I continue with that. Now, what has happened is this. Because of that ritual, what's happening now is she is feeling less important than ritual. What I'm trying to talk about is when she feels important, she is going to tell you, please go and enjoy with your friends. That's what it is. Now you won't have that guilt. Oh God, I said to her, I want to go with my friends and she got angry, all that. Now she feels that, oh, I come before. The point is, every one of us need to know who comes first. Who comes first? If I'm talking to my wife and she's busy on the phone and she says, Bolo, what's going through my mind? I'm not first. That whoever on the phone is first. Does it mean that she shouldn't chat with that person? Of course, she should chat with that person, but put the phone down now to pay attention. And this is exactly what it means. I do everything in my life, but after making my partner feel special. Pornography could be one more. And pornography generally is an effect of me not being connected with people. When I am connected with people, when I feel connected with my wife, the level of pornography goes down. Yeah. So the point is, like, there's a beautiful video called I forget the name. It's about addiction. Basically, it talks about it saying that opposite of addiction is connection. Yeah, exactly. Opposite of addiction is connection. So when I'm connected with my wife, all my addictions just wither away. That's an amazing thing. All my addictions wither away because I'm feeling connected. So even pornography is the same. I don't have to work on, absolutely. Rat example, you can check it out. Those of you who don't know what it is, you can check it out. So when I feel connected with my wife, I don't have to work on pornography. It automatically goes away. You ask any addict. I work with addicts out here in Dehradun, about 30 plus men. I spend about 3 hours in a week, and they tell me the same story. Human connection is so powerful that it can turn our life around. And that's why in olden days, people said that we can turn everything around because of, like people asked, get this guy married, things will change. That's what they meant. It doesn't work in all situations. So pornography. The 16th one is sex. I'm more connected with sex than with my wife. Now, when I'm saying sex, I'm saying I'm more connected with sex with my wife than with her. Now, this is a very tricky one. I want you to pay attention. One of the things that happens to us men, maybe someday I'll do a separate session on this, is that we are more, for us, sex is an act. Okay. For a woman, sex is an emotion. So far, so good. Just write in the comments, true in the comments. For a man, it is an act. For a woman, it is an emotion. Okay. Nissan is saying, I get bored of having sex with a wife for a long time. We need someone else too. No comments on that. So let's come to this. So for us, it is an act. Welcome, Kunal. Great, great. Kunal is saying today is his wife's birthday and just sang song for her online few minutes ago. Great. Welcome, Kunal. Good to have you. So what was I talking about? Sex. Yeah. Now what happens is when my wife says that she doesn't want to have sex and I force her to having it, I'm telling her that sex is more important to me than you. And that's where the problem starts. That's where she says, stay away from me, stay away from me. All that you need me for is for sex. Now, the other way around also true, where I make her feel so special that she says to me, I don't feel like having sex tonight, but let's have it. Because she feels loved. And why does she feel loved? Because you gave more importance to her than what you wanted. The whole thing is, this is what I've learned along the way. When I feel that the organization that I'm working for makes me feel important, I'll do anything for that organization. Am I right? They take care of me, they appreciate me, they remember my birthday, they celebrate my birthday, they give me um, freedom. And when I get that, I'm willing to do anything for that organization. Am I making sense? Just write in the comments, making sense. Even I'll make sacrifices. I'll get up early because I feel loved by them. And at the back of my mind, it's not about money only. There's so much of research. I used to work with organizations, training and stuff like that. And it says that it's not about money only. It's about me feeling that I'm important. I matter to this organization. And that's the reason people say that we never leave organizations, we leave our managers. How many of you have heard this before? If you have not heard it, write in the comments true if you agree with it. We never leave. If you're working for Accenture, you never leave Accenture. You leave your managers because that manager is not feeling you important. That manager is not making you feel important. And I guess I don't know much about this, but Steve Jobs, when he left Apple and joined Pixar, a lot of his colleagues who worked under him left Apple and joined Pixar. Why did they do that? Probably, I guess that they saw something in this man and they were willing to embrace uncertainty for a cause, for that whatever. So sex, can I put her first? And when I touch her, can I check it out with her? Is it okay? We men do that. Am I hurting? Am I not hurting? Just checking it out with the person. Maybe not too much, but to an extent. So sex. So can I put her first? And when she says no, can I take that no? Is it easy? Just write in the comments. Easy, difficult? When you really want to have sex and she doesn't want to, is it easy, difficult? Extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. There is somebody asked this beautiful thing, and I think it's time to answer it. I said, I'll do it later. Where is that thing gone? Yeah, I get bored of having sex with a wife for a long time. We need someone else too. You know what we look for, all of us? Yeah, Nisana. Yeah, all of us, we look for, one is novelty. Okay, one is novelty. The other one is security. We look for novelty and security. So when we look at our partner, I think it is Esther Perel talks about this. So when we look at our partner, we want novelty in her as well as we want security in her. Okay. So what happens is this: once we cross that particular phase of romance, then my brain stops producing endorphins and there you are, Vishal. Thank you. It's called Esther Perel on Fidelity. TED Talk is awesome. Yeah. So when we get, I lost my train of thought. Just give me a moment. Yeah. What was I talking about? At the initial stage, our brain produces endorphins and dopamines. Okay. Now, after some time, the brain cannot produce the same amount of endorphins and dopamines when I touch my wife and when we have sex. And it is an invitation for me to move from endorphins and dopamine to something called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a cuddle hormone. Okay, that's an invitation. Now, what I can do is, like a lot of people do, is instead of moving from endorphin and dopamine to oxytocin, that is holding, cuddling, and soulful sex, I look for somebody else. And if I continue to do that, what happens is, even at the age of 50, I'm looking for somebody. And at that moment, I'll be too old to get anybody. And probably I'll go for paid sex. But then, if you look at people who go for any of these things, what they look for at the end of the day is a connection. It's a connection that we look for. Initially, it could be its novelty, like you want to have sex, but then you are looking for that connection. Because what we want as humans is connection. I want to be connected with this person. Am I making sense to you? Just write in the comments making sense if I'm making sense. Yeah. We die for connection. We just want, we just want, like, how would it be you? I'm just talking man to man. How would it be you go to a prostitute, she takes off her clothes and she says, have sex with me? Like, it's like, what we look for. Or you have your wife and she puts her hands around you and says, let's sleep in each other's arms. Have you felt this? Feeling hungry for a touch? Felt that? Just write in the comments, I have really, really hungry for a touch, human touch. And as we grow up, that's what we look for, human touch. We want to be touched, we want to be held, we want to be caressed, we want to be, that sort of thing. So sex. Let's go to the 17th one is my behaviors. My behaviors can really stop me from zipping up with my wife. So what are my behaviors? My behaviors are anger. I'm so connected with my behavior, that behavior is so important for me, that I fight for that behavior with my wife in order to justify that anger is part of me, or depression is part of me, and this is part of me and behavior. But I have anything else that I have. The last one is things I do alone. I'm not going to explain that. Yeah, even masturbation. Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at these 17 things and ask yourself right now, what are you zipped to? If you're separated, what made your wife to leave you? uh, because of which of these things you are zipped to. So if you're separated, then what were the things you're zipped to when your wife left you? Write in the comments. Choose the most top one. The topmost, two of them. Thank you. Anger, pornography. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anger, pornography. Thank you. Work, Nissan. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. 1, 3, and 15. That is, one is an opposite sex friend, parents, and 15, pornography. Yeah. Habits. Thank you, Nissan, for sharing that. Yeah. So the thing that I want to focus on is there are some things I can be committed to. So the question that I need to ask, like my parents, my siblings, um, my friends, I'm committed to that relationship, but I'm not connected to a deeper level as I'm connected with my wife. So the easy one to detect is physical infidelity. That means I'm having sex with some other woman. That's easy to detect. The one which is not easy to detect is emotional infidelity. That means I am more connected with work, I'm more connected with pornography, I'm more connected with this, I'm more connected with that. Ah. So I spoke about this. So my question for all of us is, what can you do in your context? And I don't want you to answer it by saying, I will not do this. My question is, what can you do instead of it? That's my question. And if you are separated, and that was the big reason why she left you, then what can you do to put those things the second in the list? Just give it a thought. If the answer, I'm not audible, what about others? Can you hear me? So if the answer doesn't come at this moment, it's fine. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vishal. All right, great. So if the answer doesn't come now, fine. But ask yourself, what can you do? What can you do? When these struggles come up, when you feel like doing things, what can you do? And when I say, what can you do? I'm also asking this question of, how would you like to think? Because everything starts with a thought. How would you like to think? And that thought has to be exactly what I was going to say, Vishal. Prioritize wife before all the other things. That's all. I'm not saying pornography is bad. I'm not saying, you're not supposed to do this. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying that. It's like putting my wife before everything else and become aware. That's all. Because if my wife is on my side, if we become a team, she has no problem me having a peg in the evening. If that does not hurt her and does not make her feel um, less important. That's the whole thing. So great. Thank you very much. This is what I wanted to share. I want to spend the last 5 minutes, a quick check on each of you on the journey you are at. Yeah, sorry for that. My internet went off. So a quick check on the journey you are at. And I would like somebody from level 2. So how many of you are doing this faithful to the 4 things? That is looking at the creed, that means reading the affirmations, looking at the goal card, and Monday meetups. Just write in the comments your score out of 10. How committed are you to the 4 things? Creed, 3 things: creed, goal card, and Monday meetup on a scale of 10. Okay, 8 out of 10. Thank you. Thank you. 9 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Great. Great. The next thing is Awesome Marriage Blueprint. Because it is a journey, guys. There's no magic. It is a journey. One step at a time to creating a marriage from wherever you are. Okay, for somebody else, it will be faster. Somebody else, it will be slower. For somebody else, you have to get back before you start creating that marriage. So, how many of you have finished Awesome Marriage Blueprint and haven't had a one-to-one with me? Just write in the comments, me. You have finished Awesome Marriage Blueprint but haven't had a one-to-one with me. Just write in the comments, me. Okay. Anybody else? How many of you have finished one-to-one with me and have not moved to Awesome Marriage Intensive? Just write in the comments, me. Had a one-to-one but haven't moved to had a one-to-one. Okay, thank you. You had a one-to-one, haven't moved to Awesome Marriage Intensive. Can I have somebody sharing about? I think we have 2 people. Yeah, one of you, either Shodip or Vishal, can you share a little bit about the things you learned when you did Awesome Marriage Intensive? That is when you learned Enneagram. Just write in the comments. I will share and I'll tell you. I'll give you the control to share, so that people get motivated to move to the next level of their journey. Thanks, Vishal. Just give me a moment. I'll give you control. So Awesome Marriage Intensive has 2 parts. One is to learn about ourselves. And once I learn my personality type, my partner's personality type, and then to get connected. So Vishal, over to you. Just I have given you, yeah, unmute yourself and you can talk. Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Vishal, go ahead.
Yeah. So when I went to the second level intensive, I understood my personality type and what was my behavior. I'm a type 7 with a wing of 8. So I'm
Right.
an enthusiast. So I'm an eternal optimist. I like to talk. I like look at this. But I didn't
Right.
realize, in my own behavior, by certain making jokes on my wife, I was hurting her. And that really distant me from her. And she's a type 9 with a wing of 8, so
Right.
very dominating. And I realized that I can't command her to do anything, because she listens. She's a person who's very protective, but she will not listen to anybody.
Correct.
So I have to just listen without, or I have to not advise her or never tell her what to do. So whenever she would come and talk about her work, I would cut her off and start advising her, and she
Right.
stopped talking. I never realized what wrong did I do, because when I went through this intensive course in which I understood her type, that she
Right.
is this type where I have to just listen. I have to keep my mouth shut and just listen to her. This I would have never understood had I done level 2 course of understanding a person's personality type, going through the tips, going through the meditation, going through the process of actually, and it actually works. Today in 3.5 months of absolute, it was miserable time for me. For the first time, she came in front of me and she was speaking about her day.
Wow.
Just 5 minutes for the journey. 3.5 months of just talking, shouting, howling, and now it's come to a stage where she's at least talking to me in a normal tone. So intensive was really, really eye opener of her personality type.
Thank you.
It opened that window for me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vishal. What do you guys think? Just write in the comments about what Vishal shared. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? I did the similar mistakes. Those of you who will move to level 2, you will learn this. Same like Vishal, my wife is a type 8 with a wing of 9. And I'm totally different. Yeah, and being a man, there's one more thing in us that, Arey, how dare she doesn't listen to me? No, why can't she? Like, I'm the man out here, and why can't I order? Isn't it, Vishal? Did you have that thought as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I've done that. Done that mistake.
Yeah. Oof. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vishal. Thank you very much. Okay. We'll see you on Friday,
Thank you.
Lavathon. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys had a one-to-one, or even if you have not had a one-to-one, you can have a one-to-one. Meanwhile, I invite you, if you have finished with Blueprint, I strongly invite you to move tonight itself to the intensive. I'm adding one more course, especially for people who are separated. How many of you are separated and trying to get back? Just write in the comments me. Because I'm just carving out a very special course to help you guys, so many of you. Yeah. I'm carving out a very special course. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, this is what Vishal spoke about. Awesome Marriage Intensive. You learn the personality types, you do the quiz, then you have a personal session, and then there are meditation and tips. Okay, and you implement it for 60 days. Now, what I've done is, this is extra you're going to get along with it, video program and workbook on awesome marriage communication. The value of this is 21,999. You're getting it totally free along with intensive. The value of these two itself is 51,998. Now, this is a powerful one for all of you who said that you are separated and trying to get back. This is called 5 steps to win our back and bring our home permanently. The biggest mistake many of us gentlemen make is we focus on getting a home. If I'm saying the truth, just write true in the comments. All our focus goes into bringing a home. How do I get a home? So saying sorry, asking for forgiveness, begging that's what we do. Okay, and say that somehow come home. But the point is, the question is not about bringing her home. The question is, am I bringing her home, or am I bringing her back to the hell that she didn't want that she left? Let me repeat that. Am I really bringing her home, or am I bringing her back to the hell that she left? Now, when I say hell, not from my perspective, from her perspective. Am I getting it? Just write in the comments, got it. Not from my perspective, but from her perspective. If that was a home for her, she wouldn't have left me in the first place. She thinks that's a hell. Now, if I've tried to bring her back and she agreed to come back, what happened was, after about 5 months, that hell that didn't show up initially showed up. And that time she left again. So what had not changed was, I did not change, she did not change. and we came back again. So what is the solution? As you asked me, there are 5 steps you got to follow. The first step is to end the relationship. Now, when I say end the relationship, I don't mean end the relationship, but it's like, you know, how we live around jungles out here. Okay. Now, there is a controlled fire that is lit every year, especially not here, but in Kaziranga, where Pallavi used to work earlier. There is a controlled fire that is lit every year. You know, why do they light that fire in the jungle? Not the one which is uncontrolled, that is dangerous, but the controlled one. Why do they, you know, light that fire? Anybody knows? What's the point? Anybody knows? Why do they? Exactly, to regrow the trees again. So the trees grow again. So the first step, I'll give you the glimpse of all the 5 steps very quickly. The first step is to end this relationship in your mind. That means it's called a timeout. You're not going to contact your wife for a period of 30 to 45 days. And that time, what's going to happen in you is you're going to grow, you're going to learn all these things, your personality type, you're going to learn about communication style, you're going to implement these things, you're going to work on yourself. This is from your end. Okay. And from her end, what's going to happen in her mind is she is going to, because you're not contacting, she's going to forget those old things. Like, you know, let me use a harsh example. Let's say you didn't like somebody and that person died. Okay, this often happens where, you know, the person is not liked by people, but the person dies. When the person dies, people don't talk about his negative things. They generally talk about his positive things. Have you seen that happening? Though you know that he got so many negative things, but generally people don't talk about the negative. They generally talk about the positive. Now, the same thing happens in the mind. What happens is the mind forgets those old memories slowly with time, and the mind starts missing the other person they had committed to. And the mind starts thinking about those good old times. Now, this is the way the brain is created. That's why there is a TED talk, a research by a lady called Esther Perel, who talks about what is it? Attraction in long-term relationship. And she says there are 2 situations we feel really attracted to our spouse. One, when our spouse is on a pedestal and people are appreciating us. The second is when our spouse is away from us. So when there is no contact between us, my spouse will start thinking about, initially she'll take time to heal all those wounds. Once those wounds are healed with time, she starts thinking about those positive things and she starts missing. And there's a process to go through. That is, you start with timeout, then you re-establish contact, then you start dating your wife, then you strengthen the bond, and then you bring her back. There's the 5 steps. So this course, you get it free. There's a workbook, there's a video program. I'm working on it. It will be ready soon. You're not paying that 24,000. It is free. So the total value of what you're paying for is 51,998. And what is it? There is one more personal session you're going to get, 14,999. This is also free. The total value is 91,996. And what you're paying for, where is it? It is, you're paying 9,999. So if you have not started, don't waste your time, gentlemen, because every day spent away from your spouse is a day lost. Those of you who are on Blueprint, finish the Blueprint at the earliest and you can jump into this. So any questions? There is a question that I wanted to answer, and I said, as you said, give 1 rose every day instead of giving 10 roses. I tried giving a red rose. She doesn't like the color. I gave her vanilla ice cream. She said she wanted chocolate flavor. Now I'm getting demoralized. Great question. Vishal, the 9,999 is the Indian price. Okay, $197 is USD. Okay. So what have I put there? Oh, sorry. Thank you for correcting me. So it's not rupees 197, it is $197. Thanks, Vishal, for correcting me. Yeah. Great, Sagar. That's a great question. And if Sagar, are you here? Just write in the comments, I'm here. There's one more question I'm going to also answer later. Just give me. If you look at this, let's go back. When I spoke about love in the previous session, this is what I mentioned. Let's go back to the part. Let's go back to I don't know, I put it somewhere. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say, let's see. Yeah, let's put her first. What she wants or doesn't want. Now, this is the point. So I need to ask myself, and that's why when you move to level 2, you're going to understand what the other person wants. I'll give you an example of this, and such a powerful one. When I'm upset, what I want is I want Pallavi to come to me and ask me what happened. And I will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And she says, don't worry, love, I'm with you. And she gives me a hug and I'm top of the world. What do you think I will do when she is upset? I'll do the same because that's what I like. Now, when I do that to Pallavi, she says, get lost. Now, what's the problem? Just write in the comments. What do you think is the problem? I'm being loving to her and she says, get lost. I'm loving her. I'm saying, you know, I got the listening here. Tell me what happened. And she said, no, I don't want to tell you. Exactly, Sagar. The way she wants to be loved, Sagar is saying she wants to be alone. Yeah, exactly. Based on my personality, I want her to come and talk, listen to me. Based on her personality, she wants to be alone. So because she wants to be alone, and that's the best way I can love her. So I have to love her that way. So when I give her the roses, what am I doing? I'm loving her the way I want to be loved without understanding her. Now that example about roses was about, it wasn't about roses. It was about the mistake we make of giving a big gift on a special day rather than making the other person feel loved every day. It's not at all about roses. Okay. So coming back to this, as Vishal is saying, the way she wants to be loved is different. So I need to learn that. That's what Vishal was talking about when he said she doesn't want advice. That's the way. When I just listen to her, that's the best thing I can do for her. So the first thing you got to understand is what is the way she wants to be loved and work on that. So guys, I think there's one more question. I got it on SMS and I'm going to answer it. Let me do that right now. Yeah, the question is this. Okay, one question is, oops. Just give me a moment, gentlemen. Yeah. So just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'm really sorry. All right. I'll be answering that question. There's one more thing that I've added to, and I'll answer it over there. There was a question that I wanted to answer. I will not be able to answer it now. My phone went off. So what I'll do is I'm going to answer it in, there's one more thing. It is available for everybody. It's called Solution Library. Just go to your account and you'll find a new course called Solution Library. It is available for everybody, Blueprint, Intensive, everybody. So just go in and you'll find Solution Library. Go to the first one, okay, first lecture, and over there is a link to ask any question. Just ask your question and I'm going to answer it without your name so that we build up a library for all the people who join. Is that awesome? Just write awesome in the comments. So any question that you want to ask about relationships, you ask there. Within a week, come back and you'll find answers. And we'll build up a library like that with 50, 100 questions that people can come and look for on separation, on divorce, on anything. Yeah. So just go there. It's called Solution Library. Go to, if you are not sure where to go, just go to hub.2dropsocean, log in with your email ID and password, and ask me the question. Within a week, I'll put up the answers. So thank you very much, guys. And I'm sorry for not answering the question. I'll answer it within a day in the Solution Library, and you can look for it. So thank you very much. Those of you who are moving to level 2, guys, don't waste your time. It is Awesome Marriage Intensive. Do it tonight itself and start learning. Okay. And if you want to pay through Google Pay, 9591591584, 9591591584. So that's the link. That's the number. Go to Google Pay. The amount is 9,999 and start learning. Kunal, you'll get the recording of today by tomorrow morning on your email. So thank you very much, gentlemen. It was really good to have each one of you. I enjoyed myself. I hope you did the same. If you're watching the recording, please go to the below section, comments, and write something over there about what you have learned. Let's learn together. Let's grow together, one day at a time, gentlemen. One day at a time. And one conversation at a time. Let's transform our marriage. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Bye-bye. Good night.